Welcome campers. In today's video we're going to be doing another awesome Jeep upgrade. We're going to be moving the auxiliary battery from the back of the Jeep up to underneath the hood. Stay tuned. So before we get started with the wiring and relocating the battery underneath the hood, I will show you guys the battery box I got and kind of the plan I have with including the 1x1 steel and the flat bar. So I know in the cowl intake video I had quite a few people recommend battery boxes from like Dirtbound Off-Road or I think it was Trail Gear was another one possibly. I'm not too sure. But I like this battery box that Ballistic Fab makes. They are somewhat local to me. They're an Arizona company down in Tucson, so the shipping was extremely quick. So the battery box is designed behind the 34-78 Optima battery that I have as my auxiliary battery. And they are a local company in Tucson. So I get to help out a local company that makes their products here in the US, so you can't really beat it. But this is my, the plan I have is I'm going to mount this underneath the hood using the existing stud and bolt holes for the factory airbox. So kind of my plan is I was going to mount this along the support, I think like pinch weld spine that goes on the fender well on the inside. The corner of the battery box will rest against that right there in that spine to help hold it in place a little. And then the 1x1 will be welded onto these tabs, welded onto the tabs on the side, and it'll be like little legs, like small stilts that go down to the holes. And then the flat bar will be welded to the bottom of each of the little legs on both sides, and I'll have to drill a hole and angle it before I fully weld it in to use the existing stud for the airbox, and then the other one will be using one of the existing holes for the bolt through the bottom of the airbox. So I don't have to weld it into the vehicle, and then if I ever do upgrades in the future like hydro assist or anything like that, it will be extremely easy to remove the auxiliary battery box, so I don't have to use a grinding wheel or a cutting wheel to cut welds or anything. So you can see on the battery box and the battery is that it has these tabs that kind of go inside right there. So my plan was to kind of mark just slightly below it because the weld bead will be right above that. That'll meet these. And I can always trim these, I guess. But my plan is to just mark it on each side where I can lay the steel. And then from there, once I get it in the Jeep mocked up, holding it in place, I could take a tape measure from the flat spot where I'll be mounting it in the existing holes up to this spot that I marked with the Sharpie. And then from there, I will know how long of 1x1 steel to cut to make the legs for this. Now that I have it marked on each end, where the where the top of the leg will go for the support, it is time to get it in there, and I will measure to see how long to make the legs. I have the speed square to make sure it's a 90-degree angle. Now that I know it's good, I'm just going to tack weld it on the bottom and then do the same thing on this side. And then from there we will mock it up in the Jeep and just make sure it's good. So this is where we are at. It is tack welded on the bottom in both spots, and it is ready to get put in place just to see how it's looking. And then from there I will finish welding these little legs on, and then from there it is time to put the feet on there and angle them in place to line up with the hole. That is the hole for one of the holes for the airbox that takes the bolt, and that's the leg by it. So I was going to do that flat bar on it drill a hole, and then I could put the bolt through it to go into those threads. And then on this side, there's that stud that goes for the air box. So I will have to kind of offset the foot on this leg towards that towards that stud for the air box. Then I could just drill a hole in the flat plate, and it should be able to have that stud go through, and I could bolt it down. So I got the steel tabs cut and cleaned up, and they were extremely hot, so I brought them inside, threw them on a paper plate, and stuck them in the freezer for a few minutes to cool them down so I don't have to wait as long. But I'm just kind of brainstorming now about how to put these tabs, or how to mark them. They easily line up with the hole, so I was going to center it over the hole, but I'm not entirely sure on how to mark the battery box, like, so it'll be accurate to transfer over there to the welding table. But I did kind of have an idea. With this foot, I can take a Sharpie and just mark it. So now I know that the outside of this leg goes on that tab. And then with this side, it's right up against it, but I do have about, I don't know, half an inch on that edge. So I think what I'll do is I'll mark off that 90-degree angle on the tab, and then I know, okay, just line it up with that, but push it all the way to the edge of the 3/16 tab, and it should easily cover the space for where that bolt goes through. So I have it marked off 90 degrees with the Sharpie. So what I'll do is I'll just keep the 90 degrees. If we could do this on camera. Keep the 90 degrees, but kind of push it out to the edge like that. Then I could just tack weld it in place. It should hold just fine. It gives me more than enough room to either notch the tab so I could slide it over the stud, or have a hole so the stud will go through the hole. So that's what I'll do right now is I'll just tack this one, and then on this side I will tack the other tab, and we should be good to go. The feet are tacked on. Now let's get underneath the hood, see if everything lines up. If it does, we will get those feet all the way welded on. So I just kind of mocked it up a little bit, and it is about as perfect as you're gonna get it. That foot goes over the hole on that side, and then that foot is actually on top of the stud about where I will notch it. Well, we're on the home stretch, you guys, of at least making the battery box. After this is all in there, the next step is fully rewiring the entire back of the Jeep, just to make sure everything is good to go. So instead of cutting the notches in it with the grinder, I will use the giant 5/8 drill bit. And with drilling giant holes, it should give me more than enough freedom in case it's not exactly perfect on the stud and the hole for the bolt. So yeah, we will get to that, and then I will get it in there and see if everything lines up perfect. Here is the moment of truth. The feet are drilled out. Now let's see how they fit in there. Dang. Yeah, I couldn't have done that any more perfect. That hole lines up for the bolt, and that stud fits in that hole. That is perfect. I have several coats on the box and the lid for it. While they're drying, I'm going to put away all the welding stuff, and hopefully by then it will be fully dry so I could bolt it in and just check the stability of it with the battery in the tray itself. If all of that is good to go, then we'll get it bolted in, get the positive and negative lead on the battery, or at least cut and ready to be put on the battery, and then we'll move to the back of the Jeep and get all the wiring in and call it a day. All right, I have the bolts, or the bolt and the nut tightened down. That thing is solid in there. That's not going to go anywhere. Yeah, the whole Jeep is moving when I'm doing that. It's barely shaking. I can also too, if I am a little leery about it, I can also do like a plate from right here to this hole. If I really feel like it, do like a slight L shape or something and just do a bolt in each one. But I don't know. I think that's holding well. I'm gonna get the battery in, get the top on it, and just double check it all. Here is the final product of the bracket. All painted, welded, cleaned up. It is in there. It's in there good too. Yeah, that's not going to go anywhere. I tightened those down tight, those bolts. And yeah, I'm not opposed to running a strap between there and there sometime soon to clean it up. Definitely make it a lot stronger too, so it won't wiggle whatsoever. But yeah, what I'm going to do now is just get the wires cut to the lengths I need, figure out a ground so I could ground out the battery, and then from there we will move to the back of the Jeep to do all the wiring. All right, I have the ground wired in over there, and the power wire, or the jumper from the Blue Sea Systems SI ACR. That is the switch to let it charge this battery with the stock alternator. And then here is the power wire that runs all the way through the Jeep to the fuse box that runs to each of my switch houses that I could charge accessories with and run the fridge and everything. So in my eyes, we are all done up here. The only thing I'm gonna do is just make this wire look a little bit better with a bunch of zip ties just to hold it all in place. And from there, we are done up front, and then we will jump to the back and get that all wired in. All right, so after installing the new auxiliary battery box and auxiliary battery up underneath the hood, this is where we are at in the back. I did take apart the rat's nest that was over here when the auxiliary battery was in the back of the Jeep. The plan back here is I just want 3 wires running back here. One will be the power wire from the auxiliary battery that will go to the Blue Sea Systems panel that I will either Velcro or double-sided tape right here. And from this panel, I will be running the electrical to the Blue Sea's auxiliary panels right here with the 12 volt and the USB and the voltmeter. I will have 2 fuses. One fuse will run to the driver's side that I just showed you, and then the other fuse will be running to the passenger side one. So they'll be both on their own fuses, so in case anything pops, this will be the first place I will check. And each of the panels will be on their own ground also. They won't be connected into one single ground wire into one place. And this is where my ground will be. It's already grinded away from before, and there will be a nut and a bolt and a washer holding it all in place. All right, so I have the power wire ran that goes to the Blue Sea's panel right in the bottom. And then from here, this is the positive to the driver's side panel. And then right here is the positive to the passenger side panel. Yeah, I know I have all this excess. It's just a lot easier just to zip tie it up in case in the future I do want to get rid of the switch panels and run other accessories in different spots. Then it kind of gives me some freedom to do that. So now that all of that is kind of in place, the only thing I have to do is hook up the ground to here, and then the ground for the driver's side panel to here, run the ground for the passenger side panel, and then I will run the ground for the chase light to here, get that tight, and then we will be good to go to run the power wire for the cargo bay switch and for the chase light. Alright you guys, so this is where I'm at so far. I have the power wires ran to the fuse block, and my plan is to put some Velcro, hook and loop Velcro on the back, and Velcro it right in here, just to make it easy to access when I pull off the trim panels. And I have everything just, you know, somewhat organized with zip ties together. I do have some things marked just with the power wires and everything like that, and everything is bundled up. The only thing I have left is Velcro it, clean it up, Velcro it to this inside panel, and then this is my ground wire, and this is the power wire that goes to the panel that is on the trim piece. So we will get to that right now, and then we are fully finished with all of the wiring that goes to the back of the Jeep, and it is all ran to the right power sources. Alright, so it is fully cleaned up. I got the Velcro on the fuse box or fuse panel, and it is Velcroed in place. It is a lot cleaner of a setup than how it was before. It was just a complete, it worked, but it was just a complete rat's nest. But this is extremely easy to get to now. So if I do have issues with my panels in the future, I can either check the fuse that are on the panels or the fuses in the fuse box. So yep, this is where we're at, and I will just get the trim piece on and we should be good to go. All right, after getting everything installed, we packed up the Jeep and took a trip up north to explore northern Arizona and the Cinder Hills OHV area. I gotta say, everything worked perfect and we had zero issues. If you've gotten this far in the video, thank you so much for watching. We really appreciate it. Comment down below if you like what you see. Please like it, subscribe, share it, hit the notification bell, and stay tuned for our next video. Bye you guys.